You're standing in a kitchen you've never been in before. It belongs to someone you barely know. A party you almost skipped. You're near the refrigerator because it's the only place left to stand, holding a drink you don't really want. And a woman you met 40 minutes ago is telling you about her brother's wedding in Denver. Then it arrives, not a memory, something faster than a memory. The hum behind your shoulder, the tilt of her head, the word Denver landing exactly where it lands. All of this has happened before, not something like it. The same room, the same sentence, the same half second of light. It lasts maybe 4 seconds. Then it drains out of the room and everything is ordinary again. You don't say anything. Almost nobody says anything. You nod, you make some remark about weddings. And the conversation moves on while a small part of you stays behind in those 4 seconds trying to work out what just happened to you. Most adults report having felt this at least once, though the figures shift depending on who's asking and how. What's much harder to find is someone who can tell you what it actually was. The strange part isn't the one people usually describe. Feeling that something is familiar is not rare at all. You mistake strangers for people, you know. A song sounds like one you've heard. What makes Deja Vu different is that you don't believe it. In the same instant, you are certain you have lived this moment before, and certain you haven't. 2 verdicts arriving at once, both feeling completely true. That isn't memory failing quietly in the background. That's memory arguing with itself loudly enough that you can hear it to understand why that's unsettling. It helps to know that recognition doesn't come in one piece. When you see a face and know it, 2 different things are happening. One is a fast, wordless sense that something is known to you. The other is slower and comes with content, where you met, what they said, what year it was. Under normal conditions, these arrive together, so tightly bound that you never suspect they were separate. Deja vu looks like what happens when the first one shows up alone. The feeling of knowing, delivered without anything attached to it. Familiarity with no source. Researchers have managed to produce something like this deliberately. In one line of work, people were guided through virtual environments and later placed in new scenes that shared the same spatial layout as an earlier one, but were dressed differently. A museum with the same arrangement as a courtyard. People who couldn't recall the earlier scene at all often reported that unmistakable feeling anyway. Not the memory, just the pull. Whether a lab version is the same animal as the one that ambushes you at a party is genuinely unclear. But it suggests something about the kitchen, maybe the counter, the doorway, the position of the window relative to where you're standing. Form a pattern your brain has met before, in a house you passed through once as a child and never thought about again. The room recognizes something. You don't get told what. That would be a tidy explanation. And if the story ended there, this would be a video about a filing error. There is a complication when people have been scanned while experiencing something like deja vu in the lab. The regions that lit up were not primarily the ones we associate with retrieving memories. Areas linked to monitoring and conflict resolution were more active. The studies are small and the interpretation is contested, so this is worth holding loosely. But the reading some researchers have offered is worth sitting with. Deja vu might not be the mistake. It might be the sound of the mistake being caught. Something in you flagged a false signal, checked it against the evidence, and rejected it What you felt in those 4 seconds may have been the checking itself, briefly audible. If that's true, then the question changes completely, because the check only becomes noticeable when it fails in a spectacular way. A room that could not possibly be familiar, insisting that it is. The contradiction is so absurd that you notice the machinery. Every other time, the signal quietly wins. Sit with the size of that. The feeling of familiarity is not proof of anything. It is a signal your brain generates, and it can be generated wrongly. And you have now personally experienced being generated wrongly. You've just watched your own certainty arrive from nowhere with no evidence behind it. And it felt exactly as convincing as certainty always feels, which means the sensation you experience when you remember something correctly and the sensation you experienced in that kitchen are not distinguishable from the inside. You've had the argument. Everyone has. You're telling someone what they said to you in a car 3 years ago, and you can hear it. You can see the road. You know what you felt. And they're looking at you like you've invented a person who isn't them. Neither of you is lying. Both of you can feel the truth of your own version physically in your chest. What you're actually defending in that moment is not the event. It's a signal. The same one that told you a stranger's kitchen was your childhood. There's a detail here that's genuinely inconvenient for any neat story about aging brains. Deja vu is reported most often by younger adults, and reports tend to decline as people get older. That's the opposite of what you'd expect if it were simply memory wearing out. One suggestion is that the checking system might be more aggressive when you're young, so more false alarms get caught. Another is that older people are having them and no longer find them worth noticing. Nobody knows. It's a small crack in the explanation, and it doesn't close. That's the honest situation with this whole subject. And it's not because the question is unimportant. It's because of what the thing itself is like. It arrives without warning, in circumstances nobody controls, and it's gone in the time it takes to notice it's happening. You cannot bring someone into a room and ask them to have one. By the time a person can report it, the only thing left is a description of something that already ended, filtered through the same memory system that's under suspicion. There's one group where it becomes predictable. For some people with epilepsy involving the temporal lobe, an intense sense of déjà vu can appear reliably as a warning before a seizure. That has taught us a great deal about which parts of the brain are involved. It also leaves open a question that matters, whether that experience and the 1 inch is the kitchen are the same event, or 2 different events that happen to feel alike from the inside. So we have fragments, a timing mismatch, a layout that match something, a conflict signal firing. Each explains part of it. None of them explains why it feels the way it feels, which is not like a glitch, but like a door opening onto a life you have already lived. She's still talking about the wedding. Her brother wore the wrong shoes and nobody told him. You laugh in the right place. The refrigerator is just a refrigerator again, and the kitchen has gone back to being a room you'll forget by next week. But notice what happened in the last 30 seconds. The certainty is gone. Fully, you couldn't summon that feeling back now if you tried, and you already can't quite reconstruct how convincing it was. That's the part that stays with me. Not that your mind produced a false certainty, that it took it back so smoothly and left no mark, and let you go straight back to trusting everything else. You will remember this party. You'll be sure about who was there and what she said and how the light was. And that sureness will feel like access to the evening. It's the same feeling. It always was.